My name's Steve. This is Classified Captures, prehistoric creatures, three-eye atlas, and so much more in this episode. Now let's get into it. People visit old palaces all the time, but every now and then someone captures something they were never meant to see. That is exactly what happened in North Carolina. A group was touring a palace, recording the place like anyone would. One of the girls slowly panned her camera across the room, just taking in the view, when she caught something that changed the entire mood of the tour. It looked like a woman in an old-fashioned maid's dress, which made the whole thing even stranger. There wasn't supposed to be anyone dressed like that, and no one on the tour was wearing anything even close. Naturally, everyone was confused. And when you look closely, the figure does not even appear to be solid. It has a hazy, almost unreal quality that raises even more questions. The girls went back home and decided to dig deeper into the history of the palace. That's when they found out the palace had once burned down and a young girl had died in the fire. Now, the speculation is that the figure in the footage might be the ghost of that girl. Sounds a bit like a stretch, I know, but have a better theory? Now we have something that mirrors the ghost sighting in the palace, but this time it was caught in a boxing ring. The group had gone in to train, and one of them recorded a video without thinking much of it. Later, when she sat down to review the pictures and footage, she noticed something she definitely did not expect. There's a ghost-like girl standing right inside the ring. She looks completely out of place, from her dress to her posture to the strange tone of her appearance. Nothing about her matches the environment. Her skin appears unnaturally pale, almost washed out, and her arms have these odd marks that make the whole scene even more unsettling. They asked around, and nobody remembered seeing any little girl in the ring that day. And here's where things get even stranger. The boxing ring used to be a children's home that burned down. So naturally, people believe the figure could be the spirit of one of the victims. But then there's another theory that's been circulating. Some people believe that the reason the girl looks so solid, almost fully formed, is because she might be a fresh ghost. According to that belief, spirits appear solid shortly after death, and as time goes on, they grow more and more transparent as they wander. But someone else took it even further. They think this might not be a victim at all, but some kind of entity that shape-shifted into the form of a girl who died there. And honestly, when you look at the eyes and the structure of the figure, it's hard not to question what exactly we're seeing. Next, we have a man who went online to share a very strange video of something that happened in his home. He goes by the name James, and according to him, he came across a metallic object that looked like a long capsule. He had no idea what it was, but he decided to open it with a drill. People online immediately pointed out that the object looked almost identical to certain classified or experimental devices, and even James seems nervous about handling it. Still, the comments kept urging him to open it and reveal what was inside. So he set up his camera, took a deep breath, grabbed the drill, and the moment he started boring into the capsule, everything shifted. The camera suddenly tips over, and in the background, you can hear him making the strange humming or vibrating sound while the drill continues to run on its own. It's honestly unsettling to watch. Some people claim that messing with extraterrestrial gadgets has never ended well for anyone. There's no follow-up, no update, nothing. The clip ends and James never posted again. But there are others who think the whole thing was just an elaborate setup. What about you?
I hope somebody will at least save this in case I die. What is that? No, I'm sorry.
At this point, we might honestly have to consider keeping our own little poultry at home just as a source of our own eggs. A video making the rounds shows people hand-making eggs, literally creating them from scratch. They use plastic molds shaped exactly like real eggshells, then pour a clear liquid that acts like the egg white. After that, they add a thicker white substance to form the chalaza, and finally a yellow mixture to imitate the yolk. Once it's cooked, it looks frighteningly close to the real thing. These days, everyone is always in a rush. We grab food on the go, we buy cooked eggs without thinking twice, and we rarely question what we're eating. And honestly, it would be incredibly easy for a fake egg to pass as a real once it's been boiled. So if these eggs are being produced in large batches and actually make their way into the market, then what exactly are we eating? What are we putting into our bodies, and how much of the food is even real anymore? Personally, I don't eat eggs or any kind of dairy, so this ain't gonna affect me, but if anything was gonna put me off, it would definitely be that. Dolphins are among the smartest species on Earth, so it should not come as a shock that the CIA eventually banned all forms of communication with them. But it does make you wonder, who was talking to dolphins and why did the CIA care so much? Back in the 1900s during the Cold War, every major nation was desperate for an edge they could get. Spies, experiments, secret programs, nothing was off the table. One of the projects the CIA invested in involving training dolphins to spy underwater, track objects, and gather intelligence. And because dolphins are incredibly intelligent, the idea did not sound impossible at all. But then, something strange happened. The entire program was shut down without explanation. No one was allowed to form any kind of specialized communication with dolphins again, and that's where the mystery begins. Many people believe the CIA actually cracked a communication pattern with these animals, and the dolphins revealed things they didn't want the public to know. When you consider how many theories connect UFOs to the ocean, underwater alien bases, and crafts rising from the sea, well, it makes you wonder what dolphins may have witnessed. There's also that unsettling story about a dolphin forming an emotional bond with a woman working closely with it. When it could not be with her, it refused to breathe and ended its own life. Heartbreaking, but also extremely strange. Not long after this, the Marine Mammal Protection Act was introduced, preventing the public from having any deep interaction or communication with marine mammals. So the real question is, what did the dolphins reveal that we were never meant to hear? Camping can be fun and a great way to escape the noise of city life, but sometimes you have to do it at the right place and at the right time. This woman decided to camp alone with her 2 dogs, and it was already night. She was settling in when she noticed that one of the dogs at the edge of the site stared into darkness. She called it, but it didn't respond. She brushed it off, assuming it had to be a hiker passing by. As it got later and she worked on setting up her tent, she began to hear leaves crunching like someone was walking nearby, even though she couldn't see anyone. Wanting to be cautious, she spoke out, letting whoever it was know she was just a camper trying to enjoy a quiet night. After she finished setting up, she got inside the tent and prepared to sleep, but then she heard the noise again. This time, it sounded like a growl. Her dogs were silent, and she noticed one of them doing its nervous licking, something it only did when it was terrified. It was shaking too. That is when she realized something was very wrong. The growls continued, and she couldn't take it anymore. She decided to leave the campsite and head back to a car at the edge of the woodland. She gathered her courage and made her way through the dark, hearing the growls behind her the whole time, like something was following her. Thankfully, she reached a car, got in, and drove off. This is one of the rare stories where someone actually gets out alive to tell what happened. There are countless people who go hiking and never return. So if you're going camping, stay alert and do your research. Make sure you're safe out there. As for what was lurking in the woods that night, no one knows. Some think it was a skinwalker, others think it might have been a dangerous person, and the dogs kept them away. Whatever it was, she got out safely. Be careful out there.
Come here. What are you doing? What is it? what to do here. My fire's dying down. I figure I'll just let it... Stop! Oh, God! Jesus Christ, stop.
Have you heard of a building called Titan Point in the middle of New York City? It's a plain concrete giant right in the open yet completely hidden. No windows, no decorations, no signs of life. Just a massive dead-looking block towering over everything around it. It's owned by AT&T, and inside are enormous servers that manage a huge portion of the world's telecommunications. AT&T being involved is not surprising, but the mystery behind this building is what's raising eyebrows. It was exposed by a whistleblower who still lives in Russia, Edward Snowden. In one of his revelations, he pointed out a tower in New York owned by AT&T that's not what it appears to be. The building is officially known as 33 Thomas Street, but according to Snowden, the real secret lies inside. I revealed that there is a hidden room within the facility, and this room contains a router that duplicates every piece of information passing through AT&T servers. Every call, every message, every data packet is copied and routed straight to the NSA. In short, if it runs through AT&T, it passes through Titan Point and the NSA gets a copy. What makes it even more concerning is that AT&T is one of the largest communication networks in New York City, meaning almost all local data flows through this single concrete bunker. It's one of the main pipelines for modern communication, yet the information people assume is private may not be private at all. The government will never openly confirm it, but the implications are clear. Our digital lives may no longer be open to us. These days, having a phone is basically a necessity. They help us work, communicate, and make life easier. But what most people don't realize is that the same phone might actually be harming us. Every phone company buries a small warning deep inside the user agreement, something almost nobody reads. In the warnings, they admit that keeping your phone too close to your body or ear exposes you to radio frequency radiation. This type of radiation has been linked to cancer, heart problems, and other long-term health issues. Yet nobody talks about it. We carry our phones in our pockets, hold them against our faces for calls, sleep with them on the bed, and then tumors start showing up in the exact spots people are always keeping their phones on. Manufacturers know this. That's why they hide those warnings in the agreements. Legally, once you accept the terms, you've acknowledged the risk, and if something happens to your health, well, you've no case against them because they already warned you. The safest way to make calls is to keep your phone away from your head. Use speakers, headphones, anything, but do not press it directly against your skull. The farther it is from your body, the safer you are. In a way, we've traded our health for convenience, and that is truly the scary part. Share this with your friends. Back in January 2023, some coal miners in Russia unearthed a very strange-looking statue. It was a figure of a man wearing a cloak with huge angel wings stretching from his back. When the footage hit the internet, it went viral instantly because people felt that something about this statue didn't look normal. Even when the miners said they felt a heavy and unsettling sensation the moment they pulled it out of the ground, like they were looking at something they were not meant to see. Things got even stranger when a team from the lab showed up, took the statue away, and ran tests on it. According to what was shared online, the dress on the statue was not carved at all. It was an actual fabric-like material, and the entire statue was estimated to be about 10,000 years old. For anyone familiar with Christian lore, this sent people into immediate speculation. There are stories of fallen angels cast out of heaven and trapped on earth until judgment, so many began to wonder if this could have been one of those beings, petrified over time. Eventually, officials labeled the whole thing a hoax, but honestly, I don't know. There was something about that footage that made it hard to dismiss. Maybe it was a hoax, or maybe there is more to it than they want to admit. A few weeks ago, the US was shaken by the tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk on a university campus. But people started digging, and what they found happening before and after the incident is raising a lot of questions. 2 days before the shooting, Google searches for the exact gun said to have been used suddenly spiked out of nowhere. And then, just 1 day before the incident, the name of the alleged shooter, Tyler Robinson, also spiked, specifically in the DC area. Now, tell me that isn't odd. How are people searching the shooter's name before the shooting even happened? But it gets even stranger. Just days after the incident, the exact location where it took place was paved over. And here's where the conspiracy community really started buzzing. It turns out the company contracted to do that pavement work is owned by the alleged shooter's father. Now, of course, some people are saying, "Oh, it's a big company. He probably didn't even touch the contract." And sure, maybe not. We're just asking questions, but the court ruling now prohibits anyone from posting footage of the incident. And during the extremely public trial, they won't allow filming at all. For a case happening in full view of the world, that's unusual. Officials claimed it's protecting people from PTSD or preventing traumatic content from circulating. But if there's nothing to hide, well, why all the secrecy? Why cover up the scene so fast? Why restrict every angle of information? And if you go searching for all those keywords that used to be everywhere online right after Charlie passed, they're gone. So what's happening with this case? How often do you eat sushi or salmon? Some recent research and testing has revealed that farmed salmon might actually be one of the most toxic foods in the world, and here's why. These fish are raised in overcrowded and unhygienic conditions. They're often sick, stressed, and infested with parasites. By the time they're harvested, the meat is so unhealthy that it's actually gray, not the bright, fresh orange we're used to seeing. So what do companies do? They add dyes to make the fish look appealing, and that's where the danger begins, because those dyes have been linked to infertility, hormonal imbalances, and even cancer. If salmon is one of your go-to foods, you might want to rethink what you're getting it from. With everything going on behind the scenes these days, nothing is ever really as natural or as safe as it looks on the plate. I used to love sashimi. Loved it. And then I saw this picture of a guy that had been eating sashimi and sushi from, I can't remember the name of the restaurant, probably best not say. And his body was infested with lice. After that, I have never, ever touched it ever again. I can tell you that enough and none. Finally, it looks like all the speculation around 3i Atlas might be reaching its end. NASA is reportedly preparing to release actual footage of 3i Atlas, and the surprising part is that they've been tracking this thing the entire time. So after all the theories and late-night debates, we might finally get some real answers. We also have this radar footage that shows a bright object moving across the sky with a glowing trail behind it. It could be a comet, and if it is a ship, then that trail might be its engine burning through space. No one really knows what we're looking at. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. People are questioning the source of the footage NASA is about to release, and one of the strongest beliefs right now is that it didn't come from Earth. Many think it came from a satellite orbiting Mars that accidentally caught 3i Atlas passing over the planet. And remember, people have been saying for a long time that the 3i Atlas was seen near Mars. So if a satellite truly caught it there, why hide it when everyone is already talking about it? There are some people who believe everything in this world has to be realistic, calculated, tangible, and explainable, especially in the scientific community. But tell me why back in the 1990s there were people who came out with shockingly accurate predictions of what today's world would look like, and even science cannot explain how they knew any of this. One of those people was David Icke. He wrote several books mapping out a future that at the time sounded insane, but today we're literally living it. I have this footage of a man reading out some predictions from over 30 years ago, and when you hear it, well, it's scary how accurate it is. Take a look.
Fast mutating viral disease pandemics. Genetically developed vaccines. DNA database tracking. DNA chips. Get this one. 1997. Gene-based pharmaceuticals. Transmitting genetic instructions for a disease process. How about this one? You ready for it? Wait for it. Artificial intelligence to determine gene patterns. 27 years ago, who had heard about AI? Apparently they had. How about this one? Robots for doing genome sequencing. And then, this one blew me away. Using recombinant DNA for making spike proteins. 1997? It gets even worse. Smart homes. They have a whole chapter on smart homes / smart cities.
He talked about pandemics, digital IDs, vaccines, smart homes, artificial intelligence, everything. And here we are, watching those exact things unfold in real time. So how did people like him come up with such precise predictions long before the technology even existed? What did they know that we didn't? Was it research, insider information, or something else entirely? Because at this point, you can't just call this a coincidence anymore.
This one will absolutely floor you. It did me. In 1997, and this is, you can do the word search and research yourself. They predicted, not 2025, but by 2020, that people would be working from home virtually. Come on. Nuclear devices causing widespread contamination. Nanotech devices. This stuff was never even heard of. Digital currency. And last but certainly not least, vaccination programs. I'm sorry, I gotta chuckle, because if I don't, I'll cry. Vaccination programs run by organizations like the World Health Organization for a global killer that has yet to emerge. First printing, February 1997.
Back in 2009, a hiker shared some strange images he captured at Mountsville State Forest in Vermont. He was walking through the quiet forest when he noticed something moving between the trees. Instinct kicked in, and so he pulled out his phone and snapped a few pictures. From what we are seeing, well, this thing doesn't match any wildlife we're familiar with. It's huge and it walks upright on two hind legs. The hiker said the upper body was shaped like a broom, long and narrow, but the picture doesn't fully capture that part. What we can clearly make out are the hind legs. They look muscular and powerful. The head and shoulder area seems covered in dark fur, and the entire silhouette looks like something you would never want to meet alone in the woods. Some people believe this could be a dogman or even a werewolf because of the posture and the size. Others think it might be a simple misidentification, but this was taken in 2009, long before the age of advanced AI editing. And many still consider this one of the most authentic dogman sightings ever captured. But what do you think happened in those woods? Next, we have this video circulating online that's confusing every single AI detector out there, and no one can give a straight answer about what it actually is. The footage looks old, like genuine 90s camcorder footage, and in it, you see these strange men on a stage, changing shape in a way that shouldn't be possible, especially for something supposedly captured decades before AI, CGI, or any modern editing existed. So how do you explain it? The video looks authentically degraded, almost like a real VHS tape that was recorded, stored, and forgotten for years. But modern AI can also generate clips that look old by adding grain and distortion. So people began running this video through different AI detection tools, and that's when things got strange. Grok AI at first said it was a real 90s recording. Then on the next scan, it changed its answer and said it was AI generated. Other tools did the same thing. The first scan calls it real vintage footage, and the second scan flips and labels it fake. So who do you believe? And if the tools built to detect AI cannot agree with themselves, well, then what does that say? We can only keep asking questions because something about this footage doesn't add up. As if Australia hasn't already given us enough nightmares with tarantulas, snakes, giant bats, and wildlife wandering into people's homes like they pay rent, scientists have now discovered a new species of bee, and this one is massive. They're calling it the Lucifer bee. The name alone tells you, well, this is no ordinary honeybee. The female Lucifer bee actually has a horn growing out of her head. Bees already come with stingers. Well, now imagine with an extra weapon mounted right on the front. And these bees are not tiny. They're noticeably larger than the common bee, with thicker bodies and a darker, almost metallic-looking color. Some researchers say the horn might be used for digging, defending nests, or competing with other females, but knowing Australia, it probably just does whatever it wants. So now we have horned bees, giant spiders, and everything in between. Only in Australia. There's a fascinating creature in the ocean known as the salp. The salp is not your typical sea creature. It's not a fish, and while it looks transparent like a jellyfish, it's something completely different. It belongs to a group called tunicates, and these creatures look like they belong in an alien catalog. Salps drift through the ocean in long chains, almost like floating crystal tubes. They move by pumping water through their bodies like a tiny jet engine, which is why you sometimes see them gliding in perfect formation. They're also among the fastest-growing organisms on Earth. Under the right conditions, a single salp can clone itself again and again until an entire chain stretches for meters. And even though they look fragile and otherworldly, they play a massive role in the ocean ecosystem, especially in carbon cycling. They really look like something we shouldn't have on Earth, but they're very real. There is some interesting footage coming from the Pacific Ocean, but not from the ground. It was captured by someone flying over the Atlantic Ocean at about 38,000 feet. The craft was far above the clouds, and you could clearly see the cloud layer far below. Because it was late at night, the footage has this soft glowing effect over the clouds, with these strange orbs hovering above them. They don't look like planes, and they don't move like drones. They appear as perfect spheres of light drifting in formation. So what exactly are we looking at here? What could these orbs be doing above the Atlantic at that height, in that pattern, at that time of night? Because whatever they are, they don't look normal. Have you seen that recent footage going around about Jim Carrey, the man behind the iconic Grinch? He had a small get-together with the other Grinch actors, and people were shocked when they saw how he looks now. The speculation might not be too far off, because look at that face. Compare it to the older images we all remember. Yes, people age, people change, but, well, this feels different. This doesn't really look like the Jim Carrey the world has known for decades. Some are calling it the Hollywood effect, the strange way celebrities start out looking one way and somehow ending up looking completely different later in life. But others are going even further, saying it could be cloning or shape-shifting, suggesting this might not be the same Jim Carrey at all. Whatever the truth is, something is going on, and people are starting to ask some very serious questions. There are so many theories about how our world became what it is today. One of the most popular explanations is the one we all know, that a massive asteroid struck the Earth and wiped out the dinosaurs. But here's the part nobody really talks about. If that asteroid impact truly caused a tsunami more than 1.5 kilometers high, a wave strong enough to wash over entire continents and destroy every creature on land, then what about the ones in the sea? Because if dinosaurs ruled the land, there's no question that there were prehistoric giants ruling the oceans too. Some of them were even more terrifying than anything walking on land. So if the land creatures died out from fire and flooding, what happened to the sea creatures who were already living in the water? Did some of them survive, and could that be why people today still report seeing huge, unexplainable, almost ancient-looking creatures deep in the ocean? The ocean is the one place on Earth we still know almost nothing about, and if anything prehistoric survived the extinction, well, it would be hiding down there. Recently, the sun released 3 solar flares, one after the other, but it was the third one that really caught everyone's attention. Scientists classified it somewhere between a G4 and a G5 magnitude, which is extremely powerful. Remember how earlier reports claimed that 3i Atlas was trailing behind the sun, moving at almost 145,000 miles per hour? Well, according to those same sources, the moment the sun released that massive third flare, 3i Atlas suddenly vanished. Every time the sun flared, this object, or whatever it seemed to react, almost as if the solar activity were either powering it or disrupting it. Well, no one knows for sure. If this thing has no official explanation, no confirmed origin, and it disappears at the exact moment of a major solar event, then what exactly are we dealing with? Is 3i Atlas being affected by solar radiation? Is it absorbing something from the sun? Or is it trying to avoid something the flare might expose? Because the sun is the last place anything should be hiding. It seems like the military is pushing deeper into advanced tech and AI. Every major country wants an edge, something faster, smarter, and more discreet than anything we've seen before. And Germany might have just taken things to another level. Germany has developed robot cockroaches, and these things are nothing like the average pests. They're fitted with sensors, microchips, and AI navigation systems that let them crawl through homes and buildings without being noticed. They can collect real-time audio and video, slip under doors, hide in corners, and blend into almost any environment. This is their newest spying technology, and it is unsettling. And let us not forget, China already has mosquito drones and surveillance pigeons that look like real birds but fly on circuits. Now every major country is jumping on micro-spying technology. It's reaching a point where our homes do not even feel like our own anymore. Anything could be watching, anything could be listening. At this point, even that rat in your kitchen might not be a rat at all. Witnesses in Denver, Colorado have been reporting a series of strange sightings, and what makes it even more unsettling is that these incidents happened only days apart. The first witness captured red orbs hovering in the sky, and when he zoomed in, he realized the orbs were spinning. Then, just a few days later, a completely different witness recorded white orbs in the exact same part of the Denver sky. Same movement, same floating pattern, just a different color. What are the chances of 2 unrelated witnesses capturing 2 sets of orbs in the same location so close together in time? Are these drones atmospheric events or something the military is quietly testing above the city? Something is clearly happening in Denver.
You guys seen this? Second night in a row. They're back. I mean, this is pretty undisputable evidence. Those are orbs. They're floating on their own.
Something is clearly happening in Denver. But with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. An individual has recently captured a very peculiar and intriguing creature that bears a resemblance to a plant, though its classification is uncertain. The creature appears to have taken on the shape of a star, with multiple tentacles extending from its central body. These tentacles are unlike any seen before, as they've root-like structures attached to them. At one center of the creature, there's a small hole that appears to be used for the creature's feeding or breathing. We're not so sure. The creature takes turns sticking the root-like tentacles into this hole. What could this be? Is it feeding or what? Well, no one we know has the answers, and our paranormal communities are speechless, which doesn't happen very often. My hypothesis is that it's an unknown and undiscovered species, or a CGI creation meant to give the uploaders their 5 minutes of fame. But what do you think? Alligators are dangerous creatures, yet some people don't seem cautious around them. Recently, a clip went viral showing a woman swimming underwater with an alligator floating right above her. Naturally, and fortunately, the alligator had its eyes above the water. What's truly astonishing is the woman's seemingly fearless demeanor as she swims right beneath the alligator, unfazed by its presence. And the reptile? Well, it appears rather indifferent, making no move to harm her, even as she boldly touches its belly. Now, one commenter suggests the alligators may not be as dangerous underwater as they are on land, but I'd err on the side of caution. Swimming alongside a flesh-eating predator like that, oh no thank you, count me out. What about you? Would you dare to take the plunge into those murky waters with a potentially deadly neighbor lurking nearby? Some men ventured into the San Luis Valley after hearing reports of Bigfoot sightings in the area. They were eager to investigate, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive creature. When they arrived, they didn't manage to spot Bigfoot, but what they found was just as intriguing: an enormous footprint in the ground. Look at that. The sheer size of the print is impressive, and while they didn't get a visual of the creature itself, this evidence was enough to leave them convinced that something unusual was out there. Could this footprint belong to Bigfoot? What do you think? Proof of a legendary creature or something else entirely? This next footage, taken at an undisclosed location, shows something truly strange in the sky, a bright, glowing spiral. It's not the sun, as the actual sun is clearly visible right beside it, so what could this mysterious spiral be? The spiral appears to rotate slowly, emitting a dazzling light that many viewers claim looks like a portal or vortex. Its odd shape and eerie glow have left people speculating. Some think it could be a natural atmospheric phenomenon, while others believe it's something far more unusual, perhaps linked to extraterrestrial activity or secret technology. But what do you think? This next footage is said to have been taken as far back as 1987 near a volcano. The clip was allegedly taken because of the strange creature you see in it. But what exactly is that creature? It looks like some sort of huge spider-like monster. Its lower body was made of many legs that looked like roots, but its upper body looked eerily human. You could see its head and shoulders. However, this creature moved in such an automated way it looked so out of place and unreal. Most of the members of the paranormal groups where it was shared called it fake. You've seen it for yourself. What do you think? Take a moment to examine this intriguing footage.
Oh, whoa. What is that?
It's like that Tic Tac from Rogan, bro.
What was that?
The thing, like the UFO thing, like flying all over the place.
I mean, this looks like a UFO.
What we have here is a video of a strange craft that was captured in the night sky. This craft is quite unusual as it has 3 lights arranged in a triangular shape. It was seen simply floating in the air without any apparent propulsion or movement. But how did this craft get there? It all started with a glowing orb. The orb descended from the sky and remained stationary in the same spot. Then 2 more orbs appeared beneath it. This, my friends, is how the craft was formed. Could this be a UFO? It's certainly possible. The shape and behavior of the craft are unlike anything we've seen before. But then again, what do you think?
Oh, whoa. What is that?
It's like that Tic Tac from Rogan, bro.
What was that?
The thing, like the UFO thing, like flying all over the place.
I mean, this looks like a UFO.
No, but it's like yeah, I guess.
Snakes are animals that come in all shapes and sizes. Some are very small, some are big, while others are gigantic. In a remote location, a group of men arrived at a farm one morning and made a startling discovery. They found a 30-meter-long shed skin of a snake. The sight of such an enormous snake skin left them in awe, contemplating the sheer size of the snake that had left it behind. This incredible find raises numerous questions. What kind of snake could have shed such a massive skin? Could it be a reticulated python known to grow to extraordinary lengths? Or perhaps it belongs to an anaconda, one of the largest snakes in the world. The discovery of such a large shed skin hints at the presence of a truly gigantic serpent, one that might still be lurking somewhere nearby. If I were him and this clip was truly real, I'd engage the services of animal control or relocate. A snake of that size will make a meal of me in no time. What about you? What would you do? If you thought that was strange, here's another strange floating object that was shared on our paranormal platforms. This time, it wasn't a dark entity, but an oddly shaped white thing twirling right above the ground. This object was seen near a light pole, seemingly dancing in the air. There was no indication of wind blowing, and this thing didn't look like typical debris. So what could we be looking at? Could it be a peculiar type of balloon or a plastic bag caught in unusual air current? Or perhaps it's something more mysterious, an unexplained phenomenon, or even a paranormal occurrence? As technology advances, scientists and tech experts are constantly pushing the limits of what is possible. They're always searching for new ways to innovate and create positive change. Recently, a group of scientists in Denmark came up with an exciting new idea, making glow-in-the-dark trees, also known as bioluminescent trees. The idea behind these trees is to replace traditional streetlights with them. This would not only reduce the cost of maintaining faulty lights, but also help lower greenhouse gas emissions from the use of fossil fuels to power lights in the evenings. Bioluminescent trees could potentially make the world a more beautiful and magical place, transforming the nighttime landscape into a glowing wonderland. However, not everyone is pleased with this idea. Some are concerned that the genetic modification of these trees could have negative effects on the environment and human life. After all, we rely on plants for oxygen, and any changes made to their genetic structure could have unforeseen consequences. While bioluminescent trees could be a significant step forward in terms of sustainability and beauty, it's important to consider the potential risks and weigh them against the potential benefits. What do you think? Could this be a groundbreaking innovation or a potential threat to human life and the environment? This is certainly an intriguing sight to behold. This appears to be a blob-like structure with distinct human-like features such as eyes, nose, and mouth. Once it was uploaded, it started attracting a lot of attention. What's even more fascinating is that one of the eyes seems to be moving, making it look alive. Some believe that this could be a human-made creation, possibly an experiment using cutting-edge technology. Others speculate that it might be a natural and undiscovered creature. Additionally, there's a chance it could be digitally manipulated using today's advanced CGI technology. However, without more information, it's impossible to say for sure what this curious phenomenon could be. Before I ask for your thoughts, take a look at this comment underneath the original post. Now, tell me, what are your thoughts on this? The Grim Reaper, a figure steeped in myth and legend, is often depicted as the personification of death itself, appearing in various cultures with his signature scythe and black robes. But does such an entity truly exist, or is it merely a product of human imagination and folklore? Recently, footage surfaced depicting a dark-robed entity floating in the night sky, prompting speculation about the existence of the Grim Reaper. While this figure lacked the notable scythe typically associated with the Grim Reaper, the eerie atmosphere it exuded led the poster of the footage to believe that they had captured the legendary entity on camera. So what can we make of this encounter? Could this dark-robed figure truly be the Grim Reaper, manifesting in our world to claim souls as myth suggests? Or is it simply a trick of the light or a case of mistaken identity? The Matrix isn't the only subject that makes me question reality. Recently, there's been a surge of sightings of fairy tale creatures in real life, blurring the lines between myth and reality. People are sharing footage of gnomes, dragons, and even fairies. Take a look at this intriguing clip shared by a man who saw something unusual on his way home. Initially, it appears to be a piece of dried wood lying on the ground. However, as the camera zooms in, you can see that this stick has a head and a face with detailed features that are unmistakably lifelike. Its legs resemble those of a grasshopper, giving it an otherworldly appearance. The creature lies motionless on the ground with its eyes closed, giving it an eerie, almost enchanting quality. Is this real, or is it a hoax?
It's screaming.
Joe, listen.
You're like a fucking woman or something. That was a female screaming. Phil?
I would like to tell you that.
Please, please, please.
Oh,
No.
closer, man.
A group of friends decided to go camping deep in the woods, seeking a quiet getaway. As night fell and they began settling into their tents to sleep, an eerie sound jolted them awake. One of them described it as the screams of a woman. Alarmed, they all stepped out of their tents with flashlights and a camera to document the strange occurrence. They directed their beams toward the source of the sound, searching the surrounding darkness. Despite the chilling cries echoing through the forest, their lights revealed nothing. No figures, no movement, no explanation. They managed to capture the unsettling sounds on tape. The audio is haunting, raw, and undeniably eerie. What could produce such noises? Was it an animal like a fox or mountain lion, known for their unnervingly human-like cries? Or could it be something more mysterious, perhaps paranormal, or even cryptid in nature?
It's screaming.
Joe, listen.
You're like a fucking woman or something. That was a female screaming. Phil?
I would like to tell you that.
Please, please, please.
Oh,
No.
closer, man.
Next, we visit Mexico, where a man discovered a rather large bone. Take a look.
Wow. Es un hueso. Es un hueso. Es un hueso enorme. Aquí en el monte, miren. No sé qué tantos metros medirá, pero es un hueso.
How does a bone this large get to the middle of nowhere? Bear in mind that there's not a large water body around for it to have come from any ocean, and there are no animals that large anywhere near where this was recorded. So the big question remains, what is this and how did it get there? The answer is simple. No one knows for sure. Some think it's an animal that was killed and dumped there by aliens, whereas others think the man just made the whole thing up for views. I'm as equally confused and think I would need your thoughts on this, so what you think we're dealing with?
Wow. Es un hueso. Es un hueso. Es un hueso enorme. Aquí en el monte, miren. No sé qué tantos metros medirá, pero es un hueso.
It captures a disc-shaped craft in the sky floating over the ocean and near a forest. The craft just glided smoothly, its disc shape clearly visible against the backdrop of the horizon. Despite significant technological advancements over the years, we have yet to see a saucer-shaped craft like this in conventional aeronautics. Could this be genuine footage of a UFO? The clarity and distinct shape of the craft have certainly fueled speculation. While some might argue it's an elaborate hoax or a cleverly designed drone, others are convinced this is proof of extraterrestrial life. Share your thoughts on this. Let's take a look at this intriguing image captured by an astronomer. It shows a flash of what looks like fire over the moon, resembling some sort of explosion. Interestingly, the explosion didn't appear to hit the moon, but rather ignited just above the surface. People have made several observations about this phenomenon. The area where the explosion occurred looks dark, but there seems to be a crater there. Some theorized that this was a meteor or asteroid that hit the part of the moon where there was no light, creating the illusion of an explosion above the surface. However, there are others with their own unique takes. Some believe that a mysterious field around the moon caused the impact to occur in such a dramatic fashion. Others even suggest that something or someone on the moon shot at the approaching object, causing it to explode before making contact. What do you think this could be? Next, we head to Texas, where a couple saw something rather odd. Let's take a look.
That guy was looking, you see him? It was like something cut through it.
Did you notice that the sky looks odd? Typically, when we talk about the sky looking weird, there are usually flying objects, orbs, or chemtrails there. This one, on the other hand, doesn't seem to fit any of these descriptions. This one looks more like a tear in the atmosphere. Initially, when I saw it, I thought the sky was breaking up or something. That's until I realized that the tear was moving. Pay attention to it. Do you see it now? Aaron believes this might be a spacecraft in camouflage or stealth mode. Personally, I'm tempted to go with him on this one, but what do you guys also think of this?
That guy was looking, you see him? It was like something cut through it.
Perdón, en sus casas, yo estoy asustado, estoy hablando cualquier tontería.
A man was walking home late at night, completely alone, when an unsettling feeling crept over him, as if something or someone was following him. So he pulled out his camera to record his surroundings, hoping to capture anything unusual. The streets were deserted, eerily quiet, making the situation even more unnerving. While filming, his camera caught something strange near the corner of a building. It was a shadow, human-like in shape, lingering ominously. The man insists it couldn't have been anyone else since there wasn't a soul in sight. The peculiar nature of the shadow and its silent, watchful presence led him to believe that it might be a vampire stalking him. What's your take? Could this shadow figure be something paranormal? Or is it just a trick of the light?
Perdón, en sus casas, yo estoy asustado, estoy hablando cualquier tontería.
A homeowner was woken up in the middle of the night by a strange tapping on the window. He went to check it out, and this is what he found. A monkey-like creature with wings was tapping on the glass from the outside. The creature had bat-like wings with bright yellow fur around its neck. It looked like it wanted to get into the house, persistently tapping on the glass. The terrified man didn't dare to open the window or investigate further. Some viewers speculate that the creature would be some type of bat, given its wings and nocturnal behavior. However, its face resembled that of a monkey, which is highly unusual for any known species of bat. Others think that this could be a paranormal creature, something out of folklore or myth. What do you think? Is this a rare, undiscovered species, a genetic anomaly, or perhaps something paranormal? Or maybe, just maybe, we had visitors from the Wizard of Oz. They have winged monkeys, remember? A homeowner arrived home after a long day, ready to relax. He was startled to discover something straight out of a nightmare approaching his front door. His eyes widened at the sight before him.
I'm scared!
A clear, slimy substance hung down from above, resembling snail slime but thicker. Suspended from this sticky thread was a strange, shell-less creature wiggling about in the air. The creature looked like a snail, yet it lacked the familiar shell. Its body twisted and turned, seemingly defying gravity as it dangled from the slime. Was this a new or rarely seen species? Perhaps it was a type of slug exhibiting some unusual behavior. Julius says it's possible that they're mating snails. Now, I don't know how factual that is because he was not in his element when I asked him. Can any of you confirm this? Also, what would you do if you encountered such a sight? Let us know in the comments section.
Scared!
The concept of invisibility has long been a captivating topic for humanity, often feeling more like the stuff of superpowers or sci-fi than something achievable by science. After all, who would want to disappear at will? While the idea of invisibility isn't mainstream yet, advancements in technology suggests that we're closer than we think. Take, for instance, this Vantablack coated watch. As the camera pans around it, the watch seems to disappear and then reappear almost like magic. Wonder how this is possible? Well, Vantablack is a material engineered to absorb 99.96% of light. It's the blackest shade of black ever created. This extreme light absorption creates the illusion of invisibility, making objects coated in Vantablack appear as if they were not there. So could such materials be what UFOs use for cloaking technology? There's a long-standing and highly debated conspiracy theory that suggests aliens might have built the pyramids. The reason behind this is often tied to the sheer complexity of engineering and construction, particularly when considering the limited technology available to humans thousands of years ago. The precise alignment, massive stones, and intricate design seem, to some, like an otherworldly feat. However, recent research from scientists at MIT might have shed light on how ancient humans could have achieved this monumental task without extraterrestrial intervention. These researchers conducted an experiment where they successfully moved a 25-ton stone block with nothing but their hands and no heavy machinery involved. Astonishingly, the process appeared effortless, sparking renewed interest in how ancient civilizations might have employed ingenious methods to achieve what seemed impossible. While the allure of a mysterious alien origin for the pyramids is captivating, evidence like this reminds us to appreciate the brilliance of human innovation throughout history. What are your thoughts? Imagine driving down the road when suddenly a geyser of sewage bursts from the ground, drenching everything in its path. Good thing it's an imagination, right? Well, for some unfortunate folks in China, this was a reality. There was a massive explosion in a sewer system that caused an eruption of sewage, shooting out like a fountain and splashing onto all the cars driving by. The force of the explosion was so intense that it even overturned an excavator in the area. Luckily, there was no casualties reported, but the scene was chaotic, to say the least. Quite literally a messy situation. The sheer power of the explosion took everyone by surprise. Fortunately, despite the destruction and chaos, no one was seriously hurt. Though it's safe to say that the cleanup was far from pleasant.
So,
that's so trippy. Yes, it is.
Here we have another mysterious piece of footage. A group of men were out one night when they noticed something strange in the sky. Do you see it? There's a cluster of sparkling lights in the darkness, but they are not stars. It looked like some sort of cloud or invisible object giving off these twinkling lights, almost as if something was cloaked and only the sparkling spots were visible. Some hypotheses included a mother spaceship hiding there, as well as the rumored Blue Beam project. The clip doesn't, however, give us much to work with, so what do you think?
That's so trippy. Yes, it is.
This footage, shared by two sisters, has been stirring up curiosity online. They have been living in a house for a while and claim to have recorded numerous strange occurrences during their time there. In an effort to address these mysterious happenings, they decided to bless the house. You know how I always stress about double-checking a house's history before moving in, right? Well, these sisters didn't shy away from taking matters into their own hands. One day they got holy water. One sister began sprinkling it around the house while the other filmed the process. But then things took a turn. As soon as the blessing began, the lights started to flicker. Now, this is where opinions divide. On one hand, some might argue it's just a coincidence, maybe faulty wiring or something mundane. But honestly, when paired with their prior experiences, it feels a little too eerie to ignore. Could this be a sign of something lurking in their home? Would you ever dare to stick your hand into molten iron? Well, it sounds unthinkable, right? But there's a theory suggesting that if done correctly, you could pass your hand through molten iron at extreme temperature without getting burned. Take a look at this demonstration. A man carefully passes his palm through flowing molten iron, and surprisingly, he emerges unscathed. Others decide to test this phenomenon. First, they heated the iron to around 300 centigrade and dipped a sausage into it. The sausage came out slightly charred. Then they dunked the same sausage into the water before repeating the test, and this time it was slightly more cooked than before. Next, they cranked up the heat to a blistering 450 degrees Celsius. This time, the sausage remained completely cold when dipped into the molten iron. The man then used his own finger, cautiously dipping it into the superheated iron, and to his amazement, no burns. So what's going on here? Is this sorcery? Well, not quite. The answer likely lies in the Leidenfrost effect, a scientific phenomenon where a layer of vapor forms around a liquid or object when it comes into contact with an extremely hot surface. This vapor acts as a temporary barrier, preventing heat from transferring directly to the object, be it a sausage or even a human finger. It's worth noting that this is an incredibly risky experiment and should never be tried without expert knowledge and safety measures. But what do you think? Is it purely science, or does it feel like a touch of the mystical?
There's a Sasquatch that's in a barn down the road, and there's state and federal authorities there. The government has showed up. There's a helicopter up there.
While you think of that, I've got another clip, and it features this man who claims that there is a Bigfoot hiding in a barn on the side of the road. According to him, police and security agencies have surrounded the barn, and even a helicopter is hovering above. He says that the authorities have been chasing this creature through the woods before it finally sought refuge in the barn. Now, I'm curious if anyone else has heard about this situation. It would be really helpful if anyone had more insight or details regarding this incident. We couldn't find anything about it online, but then again, if it's genuine, I won't expect to, if you know what I mean.
You know, that's what I understand. They have a Bigfoot in a barn that did something. I'm not really sure what, but they were chasing it. It went into a barn, and it's cornered.
If you love exploring the woods, then this next clip is for you. This clip was captured by a trail camera set in the woods by a man hoping to capture the local wildlife. At least, that was his original intention. The camera ended up recording a dark, furred creature with a dome-shaped head staring directly at the lens. The creature's appearance was unsettling, and it left the man questioning what he had seen. Confused and maybe a little scared, he shared the footage online seeking answers. His original hypothesis, however, was that he had captured an image of Bigfoot. Not everyone accepts or is convinced by this hypothesis. Some viewers stated that the creature looked more gorilla than the elusive Bigfoot. You've seen the clip as well. Which side are you on?
Do you see? Do you see? I mean, is that not a kid sitting right there?
This video is from a teacher who had stayed later one evening to prepare his classroom for the children returning from break the next day. At that time, the school was almost empty. Only he and the janitor were on the premises. However, the janitor was not in the same part of the building as the teacher. As the teacher was about to write something on the board, he noticed something strange in its reflection. There, sitting at one of the desks at the back of the classroom, appeared to be the figure of a child. The teacher froze, staring at the shadowy figure in disbelief. It wasn't a trick of the light, something was there. Understandably, he was so shaken by the sight that he left the room almost immediately. What makes this story even more chilling is its context. A few months prior, a tragedy had occurred in that very classroom. A young student had suffered a fatal incident during school hours and paramedics had been called to the scene. One parent even captured video footage of the emergency vehicle parked outside as the child was taken away. This has led many believers that the teacher might have encountered the spirit of the deceased student returning to the place she once knew. What do you think?
Do you see? Do you see? I mean, is that not a kid sitting right there?
Have you ever driven in the night and faced an incoming car with bright lights? If you have, you know how annoying it can be, and these individuals capitalized on it. They were trying to get away from the police and decided to use light as a smart means of escape. One of them brings out a flashlight and turns it on. It disorients the police, who have to slow down to avoid hitting or crashing into anything or anyone, and the guys escape. The flashlight is thought to be 100,000 lumens, and boy, is it bright. Is this an escape strategy you would have ever thought of? This next footage was sent in by a subscriber. They were snooping around Antarctica on a map, zooming in when they came across this chilling image. It appears to be the giant skeletal head of a monster floating on the water with the rest of its body submerged. The creature's mouth is slightly open, revealing razor-sharp teeth. The sight is both eerie and fascinating, leaving much to the imagination. Antarctica is a place widely believed to hold many secrets shrouded in mystery and largely unexplored. Are we perhaps looking at one of those secrets? This creature certainly doesn't look like something you'd want to pet or take home as a catch for dinner. And since it's an image, we can't be sure if it's dead or alive. What do you think this could be? Let's take a look at this next footage. A man was walking home alone one night when he noticed something eerie. An object was floating a few inches above the ground right by a nearby wall. What makes this even more unsettling is that the object wasn't lightweight, nor was there any wind blowing. To make matters worse, it moved at a hauntingly slow speed as if something unseen was dragging it. It seemed to be following the man. He was understandably spooked by this encounter. One thing is for sure, this might be the last time he walks home alone at night. Anyway, do you think this was a wraith? What do you think was going on here? Share your thoughts below.
What the Nah, what?
Yep, that's a UFO shaped like a jellyfish. You don't see these every day, but when you do, they have a way of striking fear in your heart. It's no wonder these individuals had to stop and record the experience. Now, there's not a lot of information on this. We're not told where they are filming or when exactly this happened. What we do know is that they were allegedly driving when they suddenly noticed this strange thing in the sky. They initially thought it had to be a balloon, but after several seconds it became apparent that it was no balloon. They then concluded it was a UFO and uploaded it online to get the opinions of others. In the end, the internet didn't disappoint, although some remained skeptical about the clip's authenticity. You've seen the clip. What do you think?
What the Nah, what?
Mummies have long fascinated us with their rich history, intriguing preservation techniques, and the cultural significance behind their existence. However, I recently came across a rather unsettling piece of information regarding the mummification of women that made me grimace. It turns out that female mummies often look less well preserved compared to their male counterparts, and there's a disturbing reason behind it. In ancient times, embalmers were sometimes caught desecrating the bodies of deceased women, engaging in acts of necrophilia. This horrifying behavior led grieving families to take precautions. To protect their loved ones, families would delay the embalming process, allowing the deceased woman's body to begin decomposing slightly before handing it over to the embalmers. While it's shocking to learn about such a dark aspect of history, this initiative by the families was likely a practical way to deter such heinous acts. What do we have here? Someone trying to pick up this strange-looking creature on the muddy ground with a pair of chopsticks. The creature was sandwiched between the sticks, but as soon as he tried to lift it, the creature vanished from the spot and appeared in another position, almost as if it had teleported. Well, this intriguing creature is called the mudskipper. Mudskippers are fascinating amphibious fish known for their ability to move and survive both in water and on land. They use their pectoral fins to walk on the muddy surfaces of their habitats and their unique appearance and behaviors. While it may seem like the mudskipper teleported, it's actually a combination of its quick, agile movements and its ability to blend into its muddy surroundings that creates this illusion. There are many unexplained things that we've come across that sometimes defy explanation. People often create conspiracies in hopes of making sense of these strange phenomena. Take a look at this footage, for instance. A hand holds up this freaky-looking fish. The fish has two mouths. Yes, you heard that right. Two mouths, one on top of the other. Both mouths were wide open, giving the fish a bizarre appearance. To add to the strangeness, the fish also has 4 eyes, 2 on each side of its face. This footage has raised a lot of eyebrows. Some suggest it's simply a deformed fish, perhaps the result of conjoined twins that didn't fully separate. Others believe that environmental factors, such as pollution or chemicals in the water, could have caused this deformity. There are also those who think this might be some kind of experiment gone wrong in a lab, leading to this unusual creature. What do you think? Do you believe in time travel? No? Well, how do you explain this? We see a man at a Disney concert with Prime written on the back. At first glance, there's nothing odd, right? Until you move back to the present day and realize there's a drink today called Prime with a similar logo. Did one of their staff travel back in time, or did someone who loves their drink do so? Chances are it's a coincidence because the logo in itself is very simple and easy to replicate. That doesn't mean it couldn't also be time travel. Either way, let's hear your thoughts. Did you guys see that? What happened there? It's not every day you see a basketball blocked off by nothing, is it? A number of individuals think there was some unseen force there. There are also some who think he was going off script and was corrected by the higher-ups. How did they do that? Well, we don't know. There are some more grounded explanations, including the fact that he may have lost his grip. Not sure how that translates into a powerful kickback, but I'm sure we've got some basketball pros here. So can you guys help? While you share your thoughts on that, prepare your mind for an unsettling clip from Peru. The homeowner it belongs to was left in shock when he stumbled upon it. The clip shows his backyard, which was fenced off from a wooded area. It looked normal and ordinary until something came crawling out of the woods. It was a creature unlike any he'd ever seen. Its skin had a pinkish hue, almost human-like, but its overall appearance was far from normal. It also had small, glowing eyes that pierced through the darkness, and its face was contorted in a snarl, revealing sharp, razor-like teeth. You could even see its tongue slithering in and out of its mouth like some kind of serpent. The creature moved close to the fence and appeared to be peering in at the house as if hunting for something or someone. Despite its menacing look, the creature never tried to enter the house. Instead, it lurked behind the bushes, watching, and the footage ended without further incident. Understandably, the homeowner was terrified after witnessing this, so much so that he decided to move away from the property entirely. Now the big question remains, what exactly was that creature? We have our theories, but this time we're interested in hearing yours. Next up, we've got this bizarre security footage. A woman was sitting in a shop when the door suddenly opened. She quickly turned her head to look at the door, then slightly bowed her head in what seemed like a greeting. She even opened another door as if allowing someone inside. But here's the thing, there was no one there. She then proceeds to walk to one of the cupboards, speaking about a product to what appears to be no one. This strange exchange carries on for a while until two others come in inside the shop, watching her intently, clearly puzzled by who she's talking to. When one of them touches her, she suddenly falls down. They had been observing her on the security camera, and from the looks of it, she was talking into the air, so they came to check up on her, and that happened. Creepy, right? What do you think might have been going on here? Could it have been a ghost customer? A man decided to explore an abandoned asylum. Now, asylums don't exactly have the best reputations, and you can probably guess that his experience was not exactly pleasant. This particular asylum was in Chile and it's said to be extremely haunted. Many people have reported seeing ghosts wandering the halls, but despite knowing this, the man went one night with his dog. When they arrived, his dog wandered through the building and found a toy car. Strangely, the dog backed away from the car, growling. The man ignored the dog's reaction and left the car on the ground as he continued exploring. Not long after, he started hearing a strange voice that sounded like a woman's echoing through the hallway. Then he heard the toy car's wheels rolling in another room. He kept walking until he came across another building across from the one he was in. Through the window, he saw something terrifying. It was a figure with a pale face and black hair staring directly at him. Its appearance was distorted, and the man managed to snap a few pictures of it. As he looked at the figure, he heard strange voices again. At that point, he'd had enough and left the asylum immediately. Some in the paranormal community believed the spirit was luring him in. Just as well, he left before she was able to. Take a look at the pictures he captured. What do you think that figure is?
Tell me that does not look like a freaking face. Holy
A resident in Los Angeles shared this bizarre footage of something strange in the night sky. It shows two glowing orbs hovering in the air with a beam of light extending down toward the ground. Now, this is odd. It doesn't look like street lights or any normal reflection. And with how bright these things are, it's hard to dismiss it as just a trick of the light. We all know LA and the US has been experiencing a surge in UFO sightings lately. Could this be one of them? Or is there some other explanation for what we are seeing? Imagine sitting in the public restroom and seeing something like this. Initially, I thought it was a spider, and then within a few seconds, it changed to an octopus-looking thing, and then it started to swim in the ground. I was about to call this one out for being AI until our intern asked me if I was not aware of the Malaysian floods from 2023 and how they brought aquatic creatures into people's homes. I've dealt with Julius looking down on me for not knowing some real-world events, but the last thing I was expecting was to deal with it from my personal intern. But I'm a big guy, I'm no longer proud, I'm humble now, I listened to her and learned a lot. So Malaysia basically had a bad flood 2 years ago that caused many of the aquatic animals to go into people's homes. What you're seeing is just one of the clips from that flood incident. Since then, many have tried to use this video to suggest something paranormal occurring, but it's basically just a clip of a baby octopus that found its way into someone's house. Who would have thought?
Berenang dek ikan dalam bilik kau.
Speaking of ghosts, this clip was uploaded by a lady who was home one evening getting ready for bed when she heard something rather unusual. It sounded like it was coming from a distance, but it still did sound like a galloping horse, which was strange, especially because, well, they had no horses around. She peers out of the window to take a look, and surely enough, the sound was there. The mystery, however, was there were no horses. She decided to wait because perhaps the horses were a distance away, but the sound drew closer till it was virtually at where she was, then passed her by. This was strange as her street was the only main street there that had enough space for horses to pass by. As she sat there confused, a thought hit her that made her blood run cold. You just encountered your first paranormal experience. It was a ghost horse. That scared her. She quickly closed her windows and uploaded it online seeking answers. Personally, I feel she's already got all her answers and she just wants confirmation, but can any of you help her? What you're looking at may or may not be CGI. Someone filmed this strange craft hovering over Trump Tower, and so far, no one's able to prove it's fake. Now, I'm not saying this is 100% real, but let's think about planes like the B-2 stealth bomber that exist, so other high-tech aircraft may be out there, hidden from the public. There are tons of conspiracies about secret military technology, things we aren't supposed to know. Could this be one of them? Or is it something else entirely? On second thought, if it were meant to be a secret project, they wouldn't be using it so public now, would they? We've heard all about the famous conspiracy theories about celebrities and high-ranking government officials using body doubles dressed in hyper-realistic silicone masks to carry out their public duties while they remain hidden. I mean, how else would you explain many instances where someone looks off with their facial expressions, looking unnatural or outright just not quite human? Before you dismiss that as impossible, pay attention to these clips. Just in case you were wondering, yes, those are silicone masks and the technology is incredibly advanced. It would certainly be hard to spot the fakes at first glance. When you look closely, however, the not-so-impressive flaws start to show, especially around the neck area. You can sometimes see the material fold or crease in ways that give it away. Of course, you'd only notice this if you knew exactly what you're looking for. If this is really happening, imagine the number of famous people who might be seriously ill or even dead, while their doubles continue to show up for events, interviews, and public appearances. It's a wild thought, but in a world full of secrets, who knows what's really going on? Speaking of unusual, take a good look at this. It's a CCTV recording, but it shows something rather unusual and profound. A man was moving through the grocery store when he went by one particular shelf. Wait, there are shelves all around the place. I meant to say he went by the frozen yogurt or ice section. Yeah, that's it. Once he's gone past the whole section, some items fly off the cabinet or shelf depending on where you live. It's almost as though someone was throwing these objects at him, but that shouldn't be possible, right? Well, that's what you're seeing. This shocked those working in the shop, and they had to resort to reviewing the CCTV cam to make sure that they were seeing things right. After reviewing the clip several times, they confirmed that they'd actually seen these things happen as they did. What they couldn't confirm, however, is why it happened like that, or how it happened in the first place. Some think it was a ghost, perhaps the spirit of someone he'd annoyed, whereas others suspected it might be a poltergeist. There are some who also state it could be sorcery. The theories are basically endless, but there are some who also feel there's got to be a logical explanation or the whole thing was staged. To be sincere, you can't fault that reasoning, but what do you guys think anyway?
Watch all of this over here.
A woman stepped out onto her patio one quiet afternoon when something odd caught her attention. Her rocking chair, the one that usually sat completely still unless someone was using it, was gently moving back and forth. At first, she thought maybe it was the wind, but then she realized that there was no wind at all. The air was completely still. That's when the chill set in. She pulled out her phone and began recording, but the moment she started filming, the chair stopped moving completely, almost like whatever had been rocking it knew it was being watched. But then, as she stood there a few seconds longer, it began to rock again, slowly at first, then a bit more noticeably, and just as the movement picked up, her dog jumped up and began barking furiously at the chair. It was like the dog could see something she couldn't. Animals have a reputation for sensing things beyond human perception, and this moment definitely seems to prove it. So was it a spirit just passing through, or maybe something attached to that old chair?
It on camera. There's like no wind. That's I know, Blue, someone's there, huh? I know it. I know. I don't know why it does that.
Remember that story about the woman who bought a 25-year-old house? Well, there's an update on the mysterious book she found under the floorboards, and things just got even creepier. First, she stumbled upon an old dart game in one of the rooms. 2 darts were lodged in the board, but a third dart was suspended in mid-air, slowly rotating as if held by an invisible hand. If that doesn't scream haunted, well, I don't know what does. But the real chilling discovery came when she finally opened the book. Inside were Victorian-era photographs. Some were individual portraits of stern-faced men and women, while others captured the house and its rooms from centuries past. At first glance, the photos seemed ordinary, but upon closer inspection, something unsettling emerged. In every single photo of the room, a shadowy figure lurked in the background. Its shape was indistinct, but its presence was unmistakable. Always watching, always there. Unless this woman has a penchant for sharing her home with spectral roommates from the 1800s, it might be time to reconsider her living situation. After all, some house guests are better left in the past. Let's take a look at this very curious footage of Katy Perry. She was at an event standing outside with a lot of security and photographers around her, but something feels off. She's looking in one particular direction with this odd glow in her eyes, and she's not blinking. It looks very unnatural, almost inhuman. Is she one of those shape-shifting creatures people talk about, or could she even be a robot? We all know about the conspiracy that certain celebrities might not be entirely human, but shapeshifters and glitches like this are evidence of it. Others think it could just be a coincidence, but still, it's hard to ignore how eerie this moment is. What do you think? Someone sent me this clip asking if black people are keeping slaves now. Personally, I wanted to dodge this topic, but it's a story, and what we do here, we cover stories, so let's go. The woman on your screen was being arrested for bringing a lady to the UK to work as a slave for her. I know this sounds crazy, but it's modern-day slavery. There were no chains or shackles or plantations or anything of that sort. Yeah, I say a lot of ors, and it's intentional. It's just for emphasis. But now where was I? Modern-day slaves. She allegedly worked in Lydia's home in the UK without pay after being tricked to come with Lydia. She did all the household chores as she was expected of slaves until the issue got out. When it went out, Lydia Mugambi, which is her full name, was arrested. When the case went to court, she allegedly tried to intimidate the lady into dropping it, but it didn't work out, and she'll be in court again in May to know her final sentence. Funny, right? But before we go on, Indigenous black people have always had slaves that attended to them. This isn't new, it's something the rich and powerful do. For a bit of context, Lydia Mugambi is a High Court judge from Uganda who was in the UK to get her PhD from the University of Oxford. So while we may be in a different time, if the facts of the story are indeed true, then it's just the rich ruling over the poor once again.
I came here as a student. I don't need to work for me. I didn't come with her. She asked me because she has worked at my home before. She asked me.
This clip was brought to our attention by a Bigfoot enthusiast on this page. According to him, he was scrolling through Instagram when he saw this clip. A Bigfoot sitting on a tree. The person who had uploaded it stated it was something he had seen while exploring the woods and wanted people's opinions on it. Many in the comments were convinced this was the real deal, but some felt the behavior was too human-like to be a Bigfoot. To them, it felt like this was nothing more than a human in a costume posing as Bigfoot on top of the tree. Some even went ahead to mock the whole thing, stating that if he fell, the suit would give them some protection. When you think about it, this being fake is a possibility, but if that is really the case, it's hard to say. What are your thoughts? Take a listen to this eerie footage and tell me what you think is making those noises from the woods. This video was captured by a woman in North Carolina during a walk with her dog. As they passed by the forest, they began hearing strange, otherworldly sounds echoing from the trees. What's even more intriguing is that these noises aren't a one-time occurrence. The locals reported hearing them every year, typically from late January through February. Some people have even dubbed this time of year Bigfoot season, as the sounds are often linked to the sightings and encounters with the elusive cryptid. The noises themselves are deep, guttural, and almost primal, unlike anything commonly associated with known wildlife in the area. Could they be mating calls, territorial signals, or even migration sounds? Well, it's hard to say given how little we truly know about creatures like Bigfoot, if they exist at all. Skeptics argue it's just an animal like a coyote or an owl, but the consistency and timing of these sounds have left many wondering if there's something more mysterious at play. So what do you think? Could this be evidence of something extraordinary? Or is it just the forest playing tricks on us? And for those living near wooded areas, have you ever heard anything like this? Let's hear your thoughts. What are we looking at here? It's an alien-like creature gliding through clear water. At first glance, its body resembles that of a fish, but something about it doesn't quite fit. The head is even stranger. It has no visible eyes or mouth, just a deep, dark blue hue. When I saw this, the first thing that came to me was one of the alien ships of the Covenant in Halo. See? There's a resemblance, but while this creature might look like it belongs in a sci-fi movie, it's not an alien. This is actually a blanket octopus. Yeah, an octopus. These fascinating creatures are known for their stunning, flowing appearance, almost like a living blanket drifting through the ocean. I wanted it to be something more, extraterrestrial, but looks like it's just something terrestrial, no matter how fascinating it looks. For the longest time, we've all heard the same warning. Don't touch a jellyfish. They're known for their painful zaps that can leave you sore for hours, sometimes even worse. But then, there's this video. A man is seen scooping a jellyfish straight out of the water with his bare hands, but nothing happens. No flinching, no pain, no sting. So what the hell is going on here? Is this some kind of trick? Turns out it's no trick at all. What he's holding is actually a very special kind of jellyfish. It's almost completely transparent like glass and is called the moon jellyfish or Aurelia aurita. Moon jellyfish are fascinating because, unlike many of their cousins, their sting is so mild it's almost undetectable to humans. In fact, their tentacles aren't strong enough to penetrate human skin, which is why this guy could hold one without any discomfort at all. They're beautiful, floating like soft orbs just below the surface of the water. But don't get it twisted. Not all jellyfish are this harmless. Some, like the infamous box jellyfish, can deliver extremely painful and even deadly stings. So while this encounter was harmless, it's still best not to go around picking up jellyfish unless you really know what you're dealing with. Next, we got this image that's got everyone talking. It shows what looks like a massive, human-like handprint pressed into the rock face of White Mountain in Wyoming. And when we say massive, we mean seriously big, about 8 inches long. It honestly looks like someone or something with a giant hand just slammed into the stone and left their mark. People have been going back and forth about it for years. Some say it's just one of those weird natural things like when clouds look like animals. Pareidolia, they call it. But others aren't so sure. There are folks who think it might be linked to ancient civilizations or old Native American legends about giants that once walked on the land. And then there are the ones who go even deeper, wondering if it's something not meant to be explained at all. Nobody really knows how it got there, but one thing is clear. This isn't just a regular rock formation. It feels like a clue, a message, maybe even a warning. And it's got a whole lot of people asking what else might be out there hidden within plain sight. A man came home to a loud, frantic banging on the window of one of his rooms. At first he thought maybe it was just the wind or some animal outside. But as he walked closer, he froze. Through the glass, a small hand was pounding against the window, and along with it, he heard a child's eerie, hysterical laughter. The sound sent a chill down his spine. He wasn't expecting anyone to be out there. No kids lived in the house, and no one should have been inside. He rushed into the room, heart racing, but the moment he stepped inside, everything went silent. No banging, no laughter, and when he checked behind the curtains, nothing. No one. So what was that? A ghost or something even more disturbing? A couple owns a smart fridge, and according to them, one day the wife walked into the kitchen and heard it whispering. She turned it off, but this keeps happening. Take a look at the video.
So this shit actually terrifies me. This thing, okay, the thing is off. Okay, here we go. Your microphone is now turned off. I turned this off one day. Okay, I press cancel, and it keeps popping up. And one night, I'm sitting on my couch, and I hear whispering. Literally whispering in the kitchen. And I'm like, what the is that noise? It's this. I come in here, and I see the thing talking. It's whispering. I said, absolutely not, turn the off.
She turned off the microphone near the fridge, and this strange activity kept popping up. The fridge refuses to stay off. Smart devices are cool, but I don't think they work any better than regular fridges. Stop using smart devices at home. These devices are intelligent, meaning they can think to a certain level on their own. It also means they can be hacked and potentially used to spy on you. I know you trust big corporations, but if the things happening around us communicate anything, it's that we can't trust big corpos. Stick to the normal fridge. Okay.
And one night, I'm sitting on my couch, and I hear whispering. Literally whispering in the kitchen. And I'm like, what the is that noise? It's this. I come in here, and I see the thing talking. It's whispering. I said, absolutely not, turn the off.
Next, we got another photo shoot session that appears to have captured an uninvited guest. In the image, we see a family taking pictures with an unusual distance between them. If you were born before 2019, you'll know that they're observing the social distancing protocol. Anyway, I digress. They took a couple of pictures, and while selecting their favorites, they came across this strange figure in most of their pictures. If it wasn't already obvious, I'm referring to the bride in the middle. Yeah, there was no bride present at their photo shoot session. This person or being or ghost just showed up in their pictures and decided to make himself or herself at home. The family was spooked and uploaded the image online, soliciting opinions and views. Everyone had one thing to tell them, and it was that they'd encountered a ghost during their session. Another pointed out that this was a classic case of alternate universes colliding. According to that individual, there was a different plane of existence where someone was actually getting married, and that ended up getting mixed up with ours. In other words, the person at the wedding is also wondering why there is a strange family in the photograph. While that sounds interesting, there's no real way of proving it. Anyway, that's enough commentary from me. What do you guys also think? Buying ready-made food can sometimes feel like a gamble. You don't know who made it, how it was prepared, or even what exactly you're eating. And as unsettling as that sounds, this next story takes it to a whole new level. Someone ordered a meal from a food spot, and when they opened the container, they found something very strange sitting right on top of the food. They pulled it out and held it closer to the camera to get a better look. What did they see? What looked like a human eye, not just any eye, though a closed one with thick lashes, eyelid folds, and the surrounding skin still intact. It had golden brown color like it had been deeply fried. Now, people online are torn. Some are trying to keep calm, saying it's probably an animal part, maybe from a pig or a cow. Others aren't so convinced because the shape, the lashes, and the texture look disturbingly human. No one's confirmed what it actually is, but looking at the footage, you understand the concern. It doesn't look like any pig or cow part at all. Let's just hope this is a misunderstanding, because if it's not, then someone needs to call the police. So we start today's episode with a video from a couple whose ride home was interrupted by something unnerving. Like most of you watching this clip, they wanted to get home early and took a shortcut through the rather remote area. What they didn't count on was this appearing in their car window. It looks like a face, a person's face. Unlike the normal face of an individual, this particular one had skin that looked like it was painted with black paint and eyes that appear more reddish than normal. As if that was not strange enough, whoever or whatever this person was just stared through the glass window into the car, not moving or blinking. Naturally, the couple were so scared that they froze and sat in the car as the eerie figure kept staring. Luckily, the door was closed, and it remained so. One thing I kept thinking while watching this clip was, why didn't they just drive off? I mean, they're the ones in the car, unless whatever the thing was had some power that made them lose their will to run. I couldn't even bring this before Julius, as he would have called it fake, and for the first time in a long time, I would have a defense. Anyway, what do you guys think is going on here? We've all heard the conspiracy theories claiming that the government controls the weather. Well, it turns out this might not be as far-fetched as it sounds. In fact, it's no longer just a wild speculation, a patent that suggests it could be true. The patent goes into detail about certain chemicals that can be released into the atmosphere to manipulate weather patterns. Remember chemtrails, those mysterious lines in the sky that some people say are evidence of weather manipulation? There might be some truth to those theories after all. While some dismiss these claims as paranoia, the existence of such patents raises serious questions. Why would the government need to control the weather? Is it for agricultural purposes, military strategy, or something else entirely? You know how we always talk about Bigfoot and other paranormal beings patrolling the woods, yeah? Well, it turns out Bigfoot might not be the only thing or person we have to worry about. Yeah, that just happened. Imagine if he didn't see it. Not sure why, but someone had actually set up this booby trap on the trail. Bigfoots, skinwalkers, and other paranormal beings are known for many things, but booby traps aren't some of them. This definitely has to be human, but why? We can't say for sure. Some in the community think the biker may have gone through the trail of private property and that the owner likely did this as a means to discourage bikers from using his trail. Even if that were the case, well, this is too much. Some in the community are, however, skeptical. They feel this was all staged to make a viral video. While that makes a lot of sense, not many are buying into it. Personally, I hope that's the case, but this isn't the first time we're seeing something like this. Hopefully, it's the last. When I first saw this, my first thought was, Godzilla! While that sounds cool and all, we got one small problem. This guy isn't as large. So I tasked one of our new interns here to find out what this was. And well, you wouldn't believe what she came back with. It's an iguana. Can you imagine? Iguanas, especially marine iguanas found in the Galapagos Islands, are incredible swimmers, a rare trait amongst lizards. The one you're watching with black and white markings might be a marine iguana, which uses its long, flattened tail like a rudder to glide through the water in a side-to-side motion, almost like a serpent. The sharp claws help them grip on rocks underwater while they feed on algae, and they can hold their breath for up to 30 to 40 minutes. The black and white markings help them absorb heat quickly after a cold swim, letting them return to basking on lava rocks and keeping their body temperature stable. It's wild, like watching a mini dragon take a casual dip, wouldn't you agree? A group of urban explorers ventured into one of Chicago's sewers and stumbled upon something truly astonishing. Deep beneath the city, they discovered a mysterious spiral staircase leading to an expansive cave-like underground system. The air was heavy with dust and particles, and stagnant water pooled in places, giving the eerie impression that some kind of construction or excavation had been underway. But what exactly was being built or hidden down there? Before jumping to conclusions, it's worth noting that Chicago's underground tunnels have a fascinating history. In the 1850s, the city faced severe drainage issues due to its swampy terrain. To solve the problem, engineers made the bold decision to literally lift the entire city, building a network of tunnels and sewers to redirect the water. This ambitious project is why these subterranean passages exist today. However, decades or even centuries later, these forgotten tunnels are far from safe. The stagnant water, crumbling structures, and thick polluted air make them hazardous to explore. And who knows what else might lurk in the shadows. Over time, these underground spaces could have become home to all sorts of creatures, natural or otherwise. Venturing into these depths is not just risky, it's a journey into the unknown. A Stanford student recently developed something groundbreaking. It's the world's smallest augmented reality computer, all packed with a single monocle. Yeah, a monocle. You wear it and it interacts with you in real time. It can code, answer questions, translate languages, run apps, and respond to prompts. This is all seamlessly integrated into this tiny device. This innovation is incredibly exciting. Imagine having a powerful assistant right in front of your eye, ready to help with tasks, translate on the go, or even write code. Why didn't they have this when I was still a student? Not that I would have cheated. I mean, I don't condone cheating. Let's move on. Speaking of hiding in plain sight, what do you think this is? Not sure what prompted the individual recording to be doing so, but from the little we see of the footage, we see what appears to be a box hidden in an area where you wouldn't expect to see one. Someone in my team, however, pointed out that it looks more like a casket than it does a box. That might be true because when you zoom in a little, you notice that there's definitely something moving in it. We're unable to make out what it is, but from the little we can see, it's definitely not the kind of creature you would want in your home or dreams, for that matter. It all started a few years ago when some friends took the image you see on your screen. They were visiting a buddy's trailer in Pennsylvania for the Slovenian Festival, a fun weekend, not out the ordinary. But while they were there, someone brought up an all-tragic story. A little girl had drowned in the river nearby years ago. Most of them didn't think much of it at the time, just a sad local tale. Later that day, one of them took a quick Snapchat while the others were posing for the camera. They swore there was no one behind them. The spot was empty, clear as day. But when they looked at the photograph again, there was someone standing there. Someone they hadn't seen. Someone who wasn't supposed to be there. As it is with clips like this, they freaked out and shared the footage online, and that's where many theories came in. Many agreed it could be the spirit of the girl that had died. Some felt it was all staged, but I don't know. I really want to believe this is legit. Maybe that might be making me biased, so please let me know what you think.
You gotta let these people move the timeline, play in your face, and not say anything about it. When has the Thanksgiving ever been on the 28th or towards the end of the month? It's always been on the third Thursday of the month. So they can move a date, move a holiday, and people are so distracted by things in this country that don't matter.
So this man believes there's been a shift in the timeline without us realizing it, and he believes that Thanksgiving makes this obvious. He argues that Thanksgiving has always been on the third Thursday in November. This means that Thanksgiving usually falls on the 23rd to 25th of November. Recently, however, that has changed and it's happening later. Even this year, it's on the 28th. He believes this change only occurred due to a shift in the timeline. When you listen to him, it does sound spooky, but is he really accurate? I did some research and realized Thanksgiving in the United States has not always been celebrated on the fourth Thursday of November. Before 1863, individual states chose their own dates, often in October or November. In 1863, President Abraham Lincoln established it as a national holiday on the last Thursday of November. However, in 1939, President Franklin D. Roosevelt moved it to the third Thursday to boost holiday shopping during the Great Depression. This caused some states to celebrate on different dates. This controversy led to Congress passing a law in 1941 fixing Thanksgiving on the fourth Thursday of November, where it remains today. I tried to calculate that over the past 50 years. Thanksgiving has fallen on November the 23rd 7 times, November the 24th 8 times, November the 25th 7 times, November the 26th 8 times, November the 27th 8 times, November the 28th 9 times, including 2024, and November the 29th 3 times. Basically, no time shift here, unless, of course, I've been brainwashed too.
You gotta let these people move the timeline, play in your face, and not say anything about it. When has the Thanksgiving ever been on the 28th or towards the end of the month? It's always been on the third Thursday of the month.
Oh, this one too. Okay. Oh. Poke these mirrors. Ooh. Huh?
Mirrors have long been associated with the spiritual and the mysterious, often sparking intrigue and superstition. In one peculiar case, a man found himself in a puzzling situation while standing in front of two mirrors in a bathroom. To his surprise, his reflection appeared blurry and distorted, almost as though it had been scribbled over or tampered with. But the eerie part is that this was real, not an edited video or photo. The reflection was hazy and unclear, creating an unsettling effect that seemed unnatural. What could cause this? In folklore and spiritual beliefs, mirrors are often seen as portals or tools for self-reflection, sometimes literally, other times symbolically. A distorted reflection might be interpreted as a disturbance in energy, a sign of spiritual interference, or even an omen in some traditions. What do you think this could mean?
Oh, this one too. Okay. Oh. Poke these mirrors. Ooh. Huh?
While you share your thoughts, we move on to something even more bizarre. In the clip, we see a group of people gathered in a room, and in the center, an older man stands with his hands outstretched, holding 3 fingers over a piece of paper. Suddenly, smoke begins to come out of the paper, and just like that, a small hole forms. It doesn't remain small, though. It gets wider, and a ring of fire appears around it. We're not sure, but the man seems to be using some unknown power to burn a hole straight through the paper. The crowd, amazed, starts clapping. Some are calling this an act of transmutation, suggesting that the man is focusing his energy and transforming it into heat, causing the paper to burn. Others, however, are more skeptical, dismissing it as a trick or illusion. What do you think? Is it real or just a clever performance? Quite recently, astronomers shared a bizarre sighting they had captured of the surface of the moon. In the footage, a strange craft seems to emerge from inside a crater on the moon's surface. This craft is oval-shaped and long, as if it moves across the lunar surface. You can even see its shadow trailing behind. What's fascinating is that this craft appeared to come from within the moon itself. Could this be an indication that life exists beneath the moon's surface, or is it possible there's something more mysterious going on up there? Moving on, we got a photo that may excite our Bigfoot enthusiasts. Take a look. See it? That's our big guy, right? That's not the only strange thing they captured, though. There was some audio because they heard these unnatural sounds. Take a listen.
You said for car records.
What do you think that sounds like? A kid calling out for his dad? A fawn in distress? Maybe a kid goat calling out for its mom? Or is it the big guy? Paranormal enthusiasts are divided on this one, and I get why. If we captured this audio alone, it would have been easy to put it in one of these categories, but to capture it alongside a Bigfoot clip, well, that opens a door of possibilities that no one was ready for. So what do you think?
said car wreck or something.
This is a hagstone. They say that when you find a stone with a naturally made hole in it from the ocean, that you can look through it and see the mermaids and the fairies on the other side. There is magic all around us.
Have you ever heard of the hagstone? It's a fascinating and mysterious object often found along the seashore. What makes it unique is the naturally formed hole that runs through it. A woman recently stumbled upon one of these rare stones. Take a look at it. Hagstones have long been associated with folklore and magic. Some say that if you peer through the hole, you might catch a glimpse of mermaids, fairies, or other mystical creatures that are hidden from ordinary sight. They're even thought to have served as protective charms, warding off evil spirits and bad luck. Have you ever come across one of these magical stones, or perhaps you've tried looking through one? Did you see anything extraordinary?
This is a hagstone. They say that when you find a stone with a naturally made hole in it from the ocean, that you can look through it and see the mermaids and the fairies on the other side. There is magic all around us.
A resident was on his way home when he noticed something strange coming from one of their neighbors' houses. A single room light was flickering on and off. Intrigued, they slowed down and filmed the eerie sight. When this footage was shown to Julius, he shrugged it off, suggesting it was likely just an electrical fault. But Aaron has a different take, believing it wasn't a simple malfunction, but rather a sign of paranormal activity. What do you think? Could this just be a coincidence, or is there something more supernatural going on in that flickering room? Some Chinese researchers used a super radar with an impressive range of about 5,900 miles to examine the pyramids of Giza, and what they discovered was truly unexpected. They detected plasma bubbles. Yes, you heard that right. These mysterious bubbles, which are usually associated with atmospheric phenomena, are intriguing to say the least. The discovery has raised questions about the possible interactions between the ancient structures and natural or even unknown forces. What could this mean? Could the pyramids of Giza be linked to atmospheric anomalies, or is there something else going on that we have yet to understand? Back in 2021, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia announced a groundbreaking development initiative called The Line. It's a futuristic city plan to be built in the desert, and announcements sent shockwaves around the world. Many people were skeptical about the project, but it seems Saudi Arabia is determined to make it happen. Take a look at this recent drone footage of the project. Construction has already begun, with massive infrastructure excavation cutting through the mountainous terrain. What do you think about this ambitious project? Is it a good idea, or is it too futuristic to be practical? Have you ever wondered what the world would look like when AI is at its peak? Well, take a look at this and tell me why it feels like a very accurate demonstration of it. Robot dogs walking in the streets, flying cars zipping through the air, drones buzzing everywhere, and humanoid robots strolling on the sidewalks. It's like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it feels eerily possible. This vision of the future is both fascinating and a little unsettling. What year do you think this could become a reality? 2050, 2100, or sooner than we expect? In this footage, a man was walking home late one night when he made the fateful decision to take a shortcut through the woods. As he ventured deeper, a sense of unease settled in, and halfway through he noticed something unnerving, a pair of glowing eyes peering from behind a massive tree. Intrigued yet cautious, he decided to investigate. He circled the tree, but when he got there, whatever it was had vanished without a trace. Shaken, but unable to find any clues, he continued his journey home, trying to brush off the encounter as just his imagination. But as he neared the end of the path, those same glowing red eyes appeared, this time from the side of the trail. In a split second, the eyes darted across his path. Just looking at that, it looks like a four-legged creature, but it was so fast you can hardly tell. Fortunately, he made it home safely, but the encounter left him rattled. Some are speculating that the creature might have been the mysterious, elusive, and dangerous dogman who is said to roam the forests. But what do you think?
See that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents.
Technology has undoubtedly made our lives faster and more convenient, but we can't just overlook how it's also becoming increasingly dangerous. Just take a look at this new invention. Did you see that? This tiny drone carries just 3 grams of explosives, and when deployed, it can penetrate the skull and wreak havoc. It's fascinating yet terrifying to see how something so small can cause such destruction. What are your thoughts on this?
This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents.
And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go with our clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't, well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. I've been Steve. This has been Classified Captures. Now do me a favor and share this with everyone that you love. Share this with all of your friends, all of your family, anyone that you think might be interested. And I'll see you in the next one.